Hi, today I want to talk about this pen. This is a Visconti Van Gogh. This is the Starry Night version. So the company Visconti has a few different lines of pens that are inspired by different artists. So there's a Van Gogh, there's also Michelangelo and Rembrandt. And in these ones, at least, the Van Goghs, they're a mix of different colored resins, and they are inspired by the colors in different paintings, like the palette of a certain oil painting. This one being the Starry Night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this pen. I'm going to show you the pieces of the pen. I'm going to give this pen some ratings out of 5. I'm going to rate the design, the comfort, and the writing experience. And then I'm going to do a writing sample, and then we'll be done. So let's go look at the pieces of the pen. Okay, so these are the parts of the pen. Let's start with the cap. So the cap is not quite a bullet shape, but it does taper down towards the top. The top is shiny here. That's because this is a magnet. These pens come with a little Visconti V in there. It's magnetized in there. You can swap that out for a semi-precious stone or your initials or something. Whoever got me to tune this pen up for them either took it out because they didn't like it or lost it. I don't know what they did with it. Anyways, that's a magnet. It's kind of a cool system. I don't know. I probably wouldn't spend any money to get anything special in there, but if you want to, that's fine. This is on the back. It's got that's part of the spring mechanism. That's one thing that's kind of cool about these clips. This clip is spring-loaded. I don't actually really love the look of this clip. The chrome look, it picks up fingerprints. I don't love it. The way the Visconti is. It's supposed to represent a bridge. I think the bridge in the city that Visconti's in. It's not my favorite looking clip. And also one thing is, if you look here, you can maybe see that is perfectly smooth. There's no grip, so this actually doesn't catch anything when you clip it. There's 18 facets around the cap as well as around the body, which is kind of nice. It gives it a little bit of interest. And then you have the band, which is also chromed. It's got texture in there, like 2 stripes atop there. And then it says here, Van Gogh and Starry Night, which is what this pen is named after, inspired by. And now if I move this around, you can see the really nice resin. That's the nicest thing about this pen, is that this, they call it a natural resin. It's a vegetal resin, basically based off of vegetable plastics, I guess. But they have a bunch of different colors kind of mixed in to give this really nice iridescent depth. It's got really great depth to it. So it's blues, yellows, kind of reddy, brown, oranges, even some light greens through here. It's actually a really great looking pen in terms of that. Then we have the barrel. You can see the resin here is really nice, and you get like kind of big flashes of color, whites, yellows, oranges. It kind of does look like a nice starry night. It tapers down, and then it's got the 18 facets around, and has a chromed end cap type thing in the back there, which is fine. Then we have the section as a step down here, which unless you hold your pen really far back, you're never going to really encounter. That comes to this chrome section, which is not hourglass. It just tapers down to this kind of raised area here. I don't love chrome sections. I don't love metal sections. I don't think they look as nice. I'd rather see the resin be used for this section as well. It's just a personal preference. That's kind of what I prefer. Another thing is that the chromed metal picks up fingerprints. So personally, I would always be polishing that off. Even though I'm not super fastidious, it just, for a pen like this, I'd rather just not have it fingerprinted up. And then you see the nib, which is a steel nib. It's actually quite a nice steel nib. This one is a medium, not a very wide medium. You'll see that on the writing sample. And then it has scroll work all around. The breather hole is in the shape of a moon, tipping on the top there, and then just scroll work. It says Visconti, Firenze, and an M down there. And that is the nib. It's a normal feed, it's a plastic feed. And then we have the cartridge converter, which is the Visconti one. It just fits in there like that. And it says Visconti, and it says, I'm not sure, there's a bunch of V's and VA, or just designs, I'm not sure about that. Works like a cartridge converter works, you know, how it always does. You can replace this with an international standard long or short cartridge. The long one will fit in the barrel of the pen, or a short one. I'm not sure why you would use a short one when a long one would fit, but you could if you wanted to. And one kind of interesting thing is the magnetic, the top is, it doesn't click on, there's no clutch cap. It's actually held in by magnets, which I guess is probably why you have the metal section, because the magnet's up in there. But I'm not, let's see, I'll be quiet and hopefully you can hear this. Kind of clicks on and doesn't come off. Anyways, those are the pieces of the pen. I'm gonna go give it some writing, go give it some ratings out of 5, and then I'm going to do a writing sample, and then we'll be done. Okay, so those are the parts of the pen. So let's give this pen some ratings. So for design, I'm going to rate this pen a 3.5 out of 5. I love the resin. I think the resin is beautiful, the colors are great, there's a lot of depth in there. I'm just not super sold on the really chrome parts. I don't love this clip. I think the design of it doesn't clip to things very well, so I think that's a real failure in design. I don't love the way it looks. The band's okay. The 18 facets around the cap and the body are fine, and the way it tapers is fine. Really chrome there. And then the chrome metal section is not my favorite section of a pen. I would personally have preferred it if it was the same material, the same resin for the section. So it doesn't get a super high. It's not ugly, it's not terrible, but it's not a super high rating in terms of design. For comfort, I give it a 4 though, because not having giant hands, it fits well in my hand. I can write nicely with it. It's got a decent amount of weight to it, probably because of the metal, honestly, but still it's nice. It's designed well enough that if you're someone who posts a pen, it's not super top heavy. A little bit, not super top heavy, so you can write with it. So 4, actually, it's pretty decent in terms of comfort. And then writing experience, now at this point, I'm going to give it a 4. I tuned this pen for somebody. It came to me super dry, really hard starts. I honestly don't know a lot of people who've had really great luck with Visconti nibs right out of the box. I'm sure there's tons out there, but just my personal experience in meeting people who get Visconti pens, they tend to need some tuning before they get to their full potential. That being said, once it's tuned up, I like it. I'm giving it a 4. It's a very thin medium. It's not a very broad medium. It's still not super wet, but it is much better now that I've tuned it compared to when I received it from the person who got me to work on this pen. So right now I'm going to give it a 4. So that's 3.5 for design, 4 for comfort, 4 for writing experience. Now we're going to do the writing sample, and then we're done. Okay, so let's do a writing sample. So this is the Visconti Van Gogh. Starry Night. And the ink is some sort of dark blue-black. It was in the pen when I got it. I'm not 100% certain which one it is. Sorry about that. It's nice though. Looks very dark here, but it's a blue-black. Anyways, let's go with some writing. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. As you can see, this is a medium nib, but it's not a very wide medium. Like this is almost a fine to me. I don't know why, but it says medium on it, so it's a medium nib. So it writes kind of nicely. You can hear a little bit of feedback, you can feel a little bit of feedback, but it's not unpleasantly rough or anything. This pen was really dry. Someone had me. The reason why I have this pen is because I'm tuning up for somebody to make it run a little bit wetter. And now it is running quite a bit wetter and nicer, but it was really dry when I got it. It's okay now though. So let's write quickly. Hopefully the feed will keep up. Yeah, so that even just scribbling really quickly does it does run really nicely. Now it's actually running pretty wet, as you can see. I've been talking a little bit, and ink's not perfectly dry. So you look at the coloring. Just putting out a pretty nice puddle of ink now, especially for a pen that isn't super broad. And then yeah, oh maybe it's a dark green. Actually, now that I look at it, smeared out. Anyways, I like it. So yeah, and then is there any line variation? There actually is a little bit you can squeeze out. I wouldn't go too far. It's a steel nib. It's not designed to be flexy, but if you use a little bit of a heavy hand, you can get a little bit of flourish in there. So as you can see, there is a little bit of flex that can be found with it. Now, these pens are not inexpensive. They're a lot more reasonably priced, if you want to put it that way, than a whole lot of other Visconti pens. And if you really want a Visconti, but you don't want to spend thousands of dollars, this is not a bad way to go. You get a really decent pen. As far as I know, you can't get these with gold or palladium or whatever nibs. I might be wrong. Palladium, platinum, whichever nibs. I don't know. I might be wrong. I think they only come with the steel nibs, but they are nice steel nibs. These pens are still in production by Visconti, as far as I know. And yeah, not a bad pen. Nice little, give it a little doodle. So anyways, that's the Visconti Van Gogh Starry Night Edition. Really nice resin pen. Pretty good looking pen. I like it reasonably. Yeah. Anyways, if you like the video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. There's plenty of videos. There's plenty more coming. I've been kind of a little not posting enough videos really, but I have a plan to kind of be a little bit more regular in how often I post. But until next time, thanks for watching, and goodbye.